Hello, everybody. What's up? This is Candace with Mystic Illuminations, bringing you your live information about what's going on in the stars above today. It is August the 3rd, 2017. Thank you to everybody who joined. Today is a little bit of like astrology and lunch, depending on where you are in the world. So it's a little bit earlier than I usually do, but nevertheless, it seems important to be talking about a little bit of what's going on today. Those of you guys who saw the link for the video that we put out there, it is officially Uranus retrograde. So welcome to the Thunderdome, people. It's about to get real. And I think the title of the video is so appropriate, being Controlled Chaos. And so we're going to talk about this controlled chaos and what's going on, how it's affecting you guys. Hello, everybody in the chart. Thank you guys for being here. Happy to be back. Been a little bit of MIA. I escaped away to San Francisco for a little bit to get some work done. So yes, thank you very much. Embracing my Aries moon with my new red hair. So I figure it's been every other color, and it is amazing. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Mr. Hyde Salon and SF. If you guys are in the Bay Area, go and check them out. They will definitely make you look like a bombshell. All right, so a little bit about what's going on today. Yes, the retrograde starts today. I think it's pretty safe to say we've been feeling it for a couple of days now. I mean, the energy's been intense really since the beginning of July. We had that full moon in Capricorn and all that other crazy stuff going on, but now it is here. We have so many planets going retrograde, actually. Several of the outer planets, Neptune, as well as Saturn, Pluto, and now Uranus joins the group. Basically, we've got this retrograde that starts today. So Uranus goes retrograde starting at 28 degrees in Aries. It will be going direct early January 2018 at 24 degrees. So we've got several months to really deal with this energy of things and chaos, rebellion, things that we cannot control, and it's the urge to release from. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I want to give you guys a little bit of a mythology lesson because I think it went really well the last time. But also we're in eclipse season now. Welcome to August. We've got these eclipses that are coming, one that's going to be on the 7th in Aquarius and another one on the 21st in Leo. So August is promising lots of change. And when we look at retrogrades, a retrograde is when from Earth's appearance, the planet is going backwards. Now, in astrology, the way that we interpret this is when it goes retrograde, it's more internal. We go inward. And so when we have Saturn, which is, stability and being practical, and Uranus, which is, like I said, rebellion and change, Neptune, which is about our divine connection to consciousness, to our higher self, as well as to spirituality or illusion. All of these, and Pluto, let's not forget Pluto, the god of the underworld, about transformation and power struggles. We are now turning inward to really focus on what we need to accomplish more so from a heart level, because the North Node's in Leo, guys. Like, we're no longer screwing around anymore. We have to really be holding ourselves accountable for what does and does not feel right. I'm likening this whole Uranus retrograde to if we have had this sinking feeling recently that, oh, I don't know, something's coming. This is really the retrograde. So Uranus, like I said, rebellion, personal freedom, innovation, restlessness. Those of you guys who have any particular later degrees Aries placements, really anything from about 22, 23 degrees all the way up to 0 degrees Taurus, are going to be feeling this. And so I'm wondering, are any of you guys dealing with this? I see Maggie saying she's got Uranus conjunct her ascendant right now, shaking and things that are going on. Obviously, you want to consult with your doctors, but Uranus is electric energy. So you are transforming in such a deep, intense visual level. That's your ascendant, your body, and connecting with that. And I call that transit flying your freak flag. So those of you guys who have late degree Aries risings, you're going through this transit of maybe you just can't control yourself. Maybe you have to change your appearance. You're changing your mind. You're going your own way. And especially in Aries, it's you're not going to hold me down. Nothing is going to keep me from being the truest version of myself. And so certainly look at those connections to what's happening to your ascendant, to your moon, to your sun, or any other personal planets, because it's very, very significant for those of you guys right now, as well as those of you guys who have anything from about 24 to 28, 29 degrees of any of the cardinal signs. So being Aries, Libra, Capricorn, as well as Cancer, you will be feeling this as well. Those of you guys who have noticed, it's not just the shift in consciousness, but I think a lot of what's going on with Uranus going retrograde is leading us to get to a point where we need to find like-minded people. We want to find our tribe, people who we connect with, who we understand, who understands us. And we're being given a time to focus on the intense energy, do the internal work so we can create external changes, especially with so many planets retrograde. So when I say controlled chaos, I'm not giving you the okay to run around in the streets and wreak havoc, although some people are reacting that way. What I'm more so saying is, if we can take all of the retrogrades and really reflect and do the internal work, we can control the chaos. Remember, amazing things can come from chaos. Sometimes it needs to be that little interaction or interference of Uranus that comes in and just shakes everything up and makes us look at things very differently. So I think that it's very important that we focus on this. Every single person has Uranus somewhere in your natal chart. So I'll say this: if you have not already run your chart, if you have not looked at a birth chart calculator, it's very important that you do this, not only so you understand where Uranus is transiting, it's the later degrees of Aries, but also so you can see how it's affecting other planets, how you can see how the eclipses are going to be affecting you. I feel like what's really interesting is, with this month and things moving so quickly, not a lot of people are talking about the fact that the South Node is in Aquarius. Okay, so the South Node being in Aquarius, this is us having to kind of focus and look at where is there a collective consciousness that we're having a release. Remember, Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. And so this is friends. We're going to be feeling that friends we're falling away from. We're not feeling as connected to certain groups of people. Aquarius is very much like marching to the beat of their own drum. And so I like that the South Node collective is coming in and it's reminding us, hey, guess what? Get ready. There's an eclipse coming that's going to remove some aspect of whatever doesn't belong, whatever doesn't fit. And it's helping us achieve the North Node in Leo, and that's about being more heart-centered. So it seems kind of contradicting, because I think at a lower vibration, people are going to react with that Uranus retrograde a little rebelliously. You're going to see people who are going to pull away from relationships. You're going to see people who kind of get lost, I think, in their own minds or in their own stuff and kind of freak out and go, I can't do this, I got to go. But at a higher vibration, we're going to look at things and go, I cannot subscribe to this. So this is not something that's allowing me to really live in a heart center. I'm not living a life that I'm really connected to. And a lot of the choices and the things that are going to be coming up for you guys are very, very, very life-changing, because it's during the time of eclipses. So the first one that we're going to be having, I will do a video on that. It's going to be coming in the next couple days about the Aquarius eclipse. That's going to be on the 7th. But then we also have the one that's coming up on the 21st. That's going to be in Leo, and that's going to be the really super intense one. In fact, they're all intense, so I'm not gonna pin them against each other. But like I said, that South Node Aquarius, it's about, handling karmic matters. So lots of karmic matters are flooding in right now. And we can help course correct things that aren't working with this Uranus transit if we choose to acknowledge the issues that are there. Otherwise, we're majorly going to act out. And so I want to encourage you guys to really look at the chaos and go, I can choose how it's going to play out. I can contain this, and I can use this rebellion to be able to change and shift and manifest things that I would like. I mean, let's not forget that the North Node is in Leo, and as is the Sun, as is Mars. And so Mars and the Sun are kind of going, I have to keep going. I have to keep going out and doing whatever my heart tells me to do and be living in this space. And I think that what's interesting is, with the support of Saturn and Uranus this year, we're seeing with these fire trines that amazing things change by honoring that little bit of rebellion that's in our chart. So it's so important for you guys to look. Something else I wanted to chat a little bit about. And so in ancient Greek mythology, when they had Mount Olympus, basically we had the groups that came that were called the Titans. And they would have all these battles and they would get into it and do their whole thing if you guys are into that. But they would also talk about how they kept certain things from humans. They kept fire, they kept technology. They wouldn't share these things with the muggles. Of the Titans, there was Prometheus. And so if you guys aren't familiar with Prometheus, I really recommend taking a look into some of those storylines because it's very interesting. There's a lot of kind of similarities to Uranus, but basically he was like a trickster. He came and tricked them into giving fire, writing, mathematics, medicine, science, all of these things to humankind. As a result, he got punished. He got chained up somewhere. He wasn't allowed to basically connect with the rest of humanity, and birds ate his insides for the rest of time. So it's not exactly a happy ending, but nevertheless, it's important to realize that Prometheus is very connected to being able to align with Uranus energy, align with that inner, voice inside of us that's like, yeah, do this, do that. You got to go this way. Don't do that. Go against the grain. That's not really what you're supposed to be doing. And so when we look at Uranus in the horoscope, we're basically looking at this person's life and the image of Prometheus and where rebellion is needed. So I want you guys to think about that because, when we think about Uranus or Prometheus, it's this knee-jerk reaction that's like, oh my gosh, I can't allow people to take my freedom away from me. And so I think it's very, very interesting how people are reacting and how people are handling this energy. And so I want you guys to know it's okay. In a way, I feel like a lot of us are channeling these particular deities or goddesses or gods or energies or ascended masters or titans for that matter, and we're seeing it play out in our lives. But also, how are we seeing it play out in the world? There are people and astrologers who will connect Uranian energy to homosexuality and what's going on for trans rights, what's going on for all different kinds of groups of people and their rights to be able to participate and live a life that is equal to all of us, and that's what we deserve. So I find it interesting that topics like this are kind of arising, at least in the States right now, while we're looking at this Uranus retrograde. And so that, and also rebellion that's going on against all these issues with Pluto and Capricorn, some of our disapproval of how our actual foundations, our countries, our government, our, everything are being run right now. And I think a lot of the reason why this is happening is we're also seeing that at this time, as of today, Jupiter enters into 17 degrees of Libra. Now, he's no longer going retrograde, but he is creating an exact square today and tomorrow to Pluto. So it's kind of like this return of like this kind of like minute version of the cardinal crosses. When we have that square of Jupiter and Pluto, things get so intense, so freaking intense. And I don't think enough people are talking about that either. So like I said, check your natal charts, find your placement. If you have personal planets in the cardinal signs between 22 degrees and 29 degrees, it's rather significant, and that's a place where you want to take a look. Same thing goes for Aries, all the way up to about 0 to 1 degrees of Taurus. You're going to be feeling this as well. All right, so let's take a look here. Now I'll get into my notes now that I'm done with all my nerdy stuff. But like I was saying, that Jupiter square Pluto, it sucks. There's no way around it. You'll deal with it today. You'll deal with it tomorrow. But the nice thing is that this is the last exact square out of August 4th, and then it's done. So we're not going to deal with it anymore. We've seen Jupiter go retrograde and kind of play around with squaring on Pluto and getting really close. When we see these squares, we see lots of extremism. We see big egos. Really what you need to realize is that you need to be more self-focused and not be reactionary to other people. Don't give other people a reaction. Don't, be doing the ego stuff. Come correct. What is success to you? That's really what you need to be focusing on. It's the Pluto in Capricorn. It's how can we evolve and how can we change and really get where we want to go. But the Jupiter square can create this, I have to do it now. We have to do it all. It has to be right now. We got to do it right now. And so we have to slow down and watch out for obsession and compulsiveness. This adds so much freaking fuel to the Uranus retrograde fire. I can see why a lot of people are going to be acting out. I can see why a lot of people are going to be like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm done. I'm going to go and do my own thing. But don't get caught up in the trauma drama of everything with Mars and the Sun is in Leo. It's not necessary. Get real about your needs and what needs to change. Watch out for the obsession and realize that whatever's going on internally is a reflection of what's going on in the world. It's not just us. We have to get our heads out of our behinds and realize that whatever's happening in our life is like a little microcosm. It's a little dome of what's going on in the planet. So if you're not crazy about what's happening, create those changes. The changes start within. As we start doing that work, then we're going to see everything start to shift in the world, and we're going to start to see that the collective gets on the same wavelength. We're not fighting each other. It becomes so much smoother. Let's talk about the fact that Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde, guys. It's hard to believe that we are more than halfway through the year. We're getting to be about almost 2/3 of the way through the year, and we are now hitting another retrograde, Mercury retrograde. So this is going to start August 13th, 2017, and it will go retrograde at 11 degrees of Virgo, dipping back into Leo until the beginning of September, September 5th to be exact. So all these retrogrades, it's like, I feel like I'm melting inside. But what's nice about this is it starts in Virgo first, and then it goes retrograde into Leo. Well, that's where the North Node is. So a lot of us are being asked to reevaluate, redo, rework, replan, re-everything. Virgo is all about those little details, you know? So as we start to focus on those details and what's happening, we can then allow Mercury to dip back into Leo and kind of reconnect us to, oh, you know what? Maybe I've reevaluated everything, and the picture perfect plan that I thought I had for this job, this relationship, this home, this situation is not what I thought it was. Then it's going to get really, really close to the North Node. It's going to get close to what's going on with that stuff in Leo and bring you back to an updated version of what you really want and what you really need. So it's interesting. Like I said, guys, you have to be fluid. You have to be flexible. You can't let shit get to you this month. You have to realize that there is room for change and there is room for improvement. I'm giving you guys the kind of green light to be rebellious in a way where you're honoring yourself. If something doesn't sit right, you have to sit and evaluate it and just be like, you know what, this is not for me. But like I said, don't react. Don't react. The lunar eclipse comes in Aquarius on August the 7th at 15 degrees of Aquarius. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a couple days. I'll give you guys the whole run through on that eclipse and what to be expecting. But just know that the sun is conjunct Mars at the time of eclipse, pushing us forward, fueling everywhere we need to go to live in a heart-centered place. So you really want to focus on Aquarius and Leo this month and see where that is in your personal chart. Lots of change is going to be happening, obviously, with these eclipses. When we have eclipses, there are endings, there are conclusions, okay? So realize this, guys. Endings are coming. Like I said, all of these outer planets are now being like, peace out, we're going inward, we're going to work on you. The Saturn retrograde, helping you restructure and reconfigure where you're going in your life, but also implementing, you know, our connection to God, our connection to source. We've got Neptune going retrograde, which is helping us remove all the fog from the glass and kind of separate the things that are really illusions or fears holding us back from our heart's desires. Now we've got the Uranus retrograde giving you the okay to break out of the old and into something new. And let's not forget Pluto, who's reminding you that you have to go deep, dark, down inside, dig out all of the rot with both of your hands and be able to figure out who you are and what you're doing. So I think that there's so much energy that comes up this month where I guarantee you things are going to change. I guarantee you you're going to have to make decisions on a dime, and you're going to have to shift and make these decisions very quickly. And with the help of Saturn and Uranus, you're pretty safe. Okay, you're pretty safe, especially now that we're out of that retrograde mess with Venus. Venus is now making its way into Cancer recently, which is actually kind of nice, and we're kind of patching up those wounds from that Capricorn full moon. And we're able to deliver these messages, I think, in a more loving way. Remember, Mercury in Virgo is the details, the details, the details. Venus is allowing us to give it a little bit more nicely. So you guys got a lot of energy to be working with this month. I'm excited. I'm really excited to come and talk to you guys a little bit more so about the eclipses and what is going on for your own personal charts. So like I said, if you want something to focus on, you want something to kind of think about, it's what is that light inside of you that you have this fear that somebody could take away from you? What is this thing that's inside of you that you're not willing to compromise on, that you're not willing to allow to become jeopardized in any which way? For some of us, it's our own personal freedom. For others, it's their own creativity, our own ability to express ourselves, our own ability to be a genius. I mean, Uranian placement is about divine, you know, connection, not just to source, but I think it's also about our ability to create. It's about our ability to invent and to do things in a very unexpected way. So focus on that, meditate on that, do a little bit more research into your own personal charts, and certainly look a little bit more into what I told you about Prometheus, because I think it's very interesting. And like I said, I'm taking the new perspective, at least with the transits in my life, that when a transit, when I'm going through a difficult transit, I'm gonna be that planet. And so a lot of me choosing to go and make a dramatic change in my life or in my appearance or in this or that is very much Uranus is on my moon and it's going retrograde, coming back, getting ready to hit it. And if anybody knows anything about Aries moons, it's like, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. We're not going to listen to other people. And so it can be very heightened at this time if it's hitting personal planets like your sun, like your moon, like your Venus. And you're going to see that you're not willing to settle and you're going to kind of go your own way. So cue the Fleetwood Mac, I think, on that one. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. Let's take a look and see what's happening and what's going on with your guys' own personal housing system. So to those of you guys, like I said, who haven't looked at your chart, please do, and take a look at where Aries is in that particular chart. All right, so let's go ahead and get into that. You want to listen to your ascendant, you want to listen to your moon, and you also want to listen to your sun sign, guys. So don't get fixated on one thing, because let me tell you, it's going to affect everything in your chart. This month is a really good month to know like what the hell's going on. So let's go ahead and let's start with Aries. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's just like all of this radical change with you, having to evaluate, having to work better with partners, seeing that there's a bunch of change going on in the workspace. I mean, you know, the cardinal signs are really, they're really getting it. Marina asked, natal or progress chart? Girl, you know that the progress chart tells the details of what's going on in your natal chart. So if you're evolved enough to get to the progress chart, certainly look at the progress chart and see what's going on and see what's happening, because that's going to give you a little bit more information about how all of those things are coming together to help you complete what you're looking for in the actual natal contract. Stay tuned, guys. I'm going to start with Aries and I'm going to make my way all the way to Pisces. Hopefully somebody comes along a little bit later and gives you those timestamps so you don't have to listen to me talk about everything. Unless you're into that, that's cool. But let's talk about Aries first. So this is your first house. You're evolving, you're changing. Like I said, some of you guys are going through some really intense transits with Uranus on your sun or on your ascendant. So let's see what's helping out. All right, the Two of Swords. So I think that's actually kind of a safety card. I'm liking that that card came up and it's talking about making a choice and making a decision. But when I see the Two of Swords, I also think about polarity. So it's like I could go here, I could go there. And like I said, for especially those Aries ascendants, you're looking at having Uranus that's in your first house and Jupiter somewhere around your seventh. And so it's this need to change yourself and be in alignment with how you're changing, but also there's so much of what your partner needs and trying to really benefit from these partners that you might be having to make a decision. It's, am I going to stay or am I going to go? And I think this goes for a lot of Aries placement. I've seen a lot of you guys recently. I'm dealing with it too. And it's, do I want to be in this relationship or do I want to leave? Am I looking at this like, is the grass always greener, or am I being reactionary? So really sit on that and evaluate that. I think that this is also saying that this is a time of contemplation. I wouldn't necessarily, you know, encourage you to run off and join the circus or run off and leave a husband or run off and leave a business partnership. I think that you have to sit and kind of sit with the energy and allow it to stew in a way and mull some decisions over before being reactionary. So certainly take a look at that, Aries, but that's actually a pretty good, in my opinion, it's a pretty decent placement. All right, so now we're going to move on to Taurus. And Taurus, guys, this is your 12th house. So, excuse me, I have to take a little break. I should like totally do advertising for this company because it's like all I drink. All right, so For Taurus, guys, this is your 12th house. And so, you know, it's a lot of, I look at Uranus in the 12th house as like expecting the unexpected, expecting miracles, allowing the universe to totally shake things up and shift things. And a lot of you guys have been dealing with this transit for some time, seeing that your connection to source, to spirit, to your intuition, to the other side, to your dream space is really showing up. And guess what? When you have this retrograde go through your 12th house, expect some crazy ass dreams, and your spirit guides or whoever's taking care of you up there to really come through and deliver these messages, especially when we have this Mercury retrograde, because you'll be so much more deeply in tune to what's going on internally that some unexpected things can happen. Now, astrologers sometimes say, you know, the 12th house is a grab bag. It can be unexpected things. It could be illusions. It could be, you know, people who are going to stab you in the back. Yes, it could be all of those things, but Uranus going retrograde there, I think is actually going to be a little bit more clear. So Taurus, feel good about that. Know that it's actually going to provide you with quite a bit of insight. And for that, I get the 4 of Coins. Interesting that this comes up because I think that this is about kind of holding true to things and not being reactionary or not letting go of ideas. This might be actually literally be given the gold. You might be given the gold on this one. So it's important for you to really look at whatever is handed to you and whatever you connect with or whatever information you receive or you download, that's yours to hold on to. This is something that is actually very valuable. So do not let go of it. Expect that also there can be some financial stuff that can pop up. And so I wouldn't make any crazy investments at that time. I think I would be more focused about using your gut and your intuition before making any investments or making any major financial commitments. So sit on that, let it marinate. All right, Gemini. For you guys, this is your 11th house. So let's take a look at what's going on with you guys, because there's certainly a lot of learning about partnerships, improved situations. I know you've had the Saturn opposition, but you've also got Jupiter that's somehow playing very nicely with your sun. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to expand. There's a lot of opportunities for you also to be taking a look at what's going on in your social circle. What's happening with your groups of friends? It's the 11th house. It's your associations. It's who you're affiliated with. It's your hopes and your dreams and your wishes. So you can be finding that maybe, you know, coming to the tail end of this Saturn opposition for you, you're no longer thinking entirely too big. Now you're being a little bit better grounded and a little bit more realistic. So as Uranus goes retrograde, you also could be clearing house, especially with friends. So pay attention to what's going on there, gems. And for you guys, you get the Page of Wands. I love this card for you. I think this is giving you the okay to walk. So let's say that you're getting a little bit more serious about what's happening with some of your professional endeavors or what direction you're going on in life. If you're feeling like there are people who are being a little too reckless who you're associating with, or people who are just being a little bit too unpredictable or creating some chaos for you, then you got to cut that shit from your life. Like, there's no real way around that. You have to kind of get a little bit better connected to, no, we can't just have a bunch of friends, and sometimes we can have some loose cannons in our life, and those can be people who can really affect what direction we're trying to go in. Remember, you're going to be most like the people who you surround yourself with. So those 3, 4, 5 people who you spend the most time with will have a direct impact on where you're going and what you're doing. Raf Mama just asked, should it just apply if we're talking about the houses or the rising? You want to listen to your sun, moon, and your rising. So you want to listen to all 3 of them to be able to get an accurate idea of how this transit is going to affect you. Now we're moving into Cancer. Hello, little Cancers. I love that Venus is hovering around your sun. I love that you guys are really seeing what you need to see about your relationships and about your partnerships. I love that you guys have the opportunity with Uranus going retrograde in your 10th house to really focus on, okay, where can I let go of control a little bit? Where can I leave room for the unexpected? Where can I allow myself to plan accordingly to create space for things to show up and surprise me and to happen in a positive way? This is a good thing, Cancer. I know that sometimes you guys live in a way where you want to hide in the shell and you want to do damage control and prevent certain things from happening, but there needs to be a little bit of this genius energy going on in your 10th house. This is a really great time to continue mulling over ideas that you have for work and for what you're doing for a living, and allowing yourself to kind of have some divine intervention and give you some of this information. So it's certainly a really good month for you to also be looking at new innovative ways to work technology into what you're doing with your work, into what you're doing out in the world. Please hear me on this, because many Cancers this month are going to realize, holy cow, I can totally expand what I'm doing by getting on the internet. Holy cow, I can totally go and start a YouTube channel. I can totally go and start a podcast. I can totally go and do XYZ and buy this and that to expand the type of work that I'm doing. And so allow yourself to be in that. Allow there to be room for the unexpected. I think it'll be really good for you guys. Let's see what comes up for you. And for that, I have Temperance. I still think this kind of mirrors what I was saying, but definitely allowing yourself to have things come as they may. Take space, allow things to happen. The Temperance is adding a little bit of this, adding a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, until you get the perfect structure or until you get the perfect idea. So use that Temperance. It's also about healing. So you might find that there are opportunities for you to heal situations or heal problems or heal things that have happened, or maybe in the past you have been a little bit concerned about how something was going to come across and you got your feelings hurt. But now the timing is kind of coming back around and making it more possible for you to release some of these ideas and not be so self-critical about it, and allow yourself to be more expressive, okay? All right, so here we go. So now we've got Leo. All right, Leo. So for you guys, this is your 9th house. Certainly opportunities for new spontaneous travel, certainly opportunities for you to maybe even be thinking about new creative ways for you to be learning. I mean, remember, Leo, North Node making its way somehow towards your sun, which is, your energy, your vitality, also sometimes what you're doing for work, your North Node, how you're coming across, or your moon, what's emotionally important. So for you to have this transit going on specifically in your 9th house is certainly going to trigger the opportunity for you to look at creative ways to be learning or be connecting to what's important. This is the house of God. Some of you guys might be looking at online classes. Some of you guys might be looking at trade opportunities. Some of you guys might be going, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go to India and I'm going to just go and live there for 6 months and study astrology. Who knows? So there's opportunities for you to also have this collaboration of source and creativity and your ability to invent things, and accessing and utilizing forms of spirituality and or cultural aspects. And so some of you guys are really going to be going, I'm going to break the mold. I'm going to do something new. This is my new business plan, and this is how I'm going to teach myself how to do it. And so I'm seeing a lot of Leos who are just these bright, bushy eyes who are suddenly waking up and realizing they can be the center of their own world, and they can do it without feeling like they're coming from ego, that they're more so kind of focused on what's coming from their heart. So it's very beautiful. It's very amazing. Let's see what Leo gets for their 9th house. And for that I get, all right, the 6 of Cups. So a lot of you guys are going back, you're evaluating, you're potentially even reminiscing. I see the 6 of Cups still as very heart-centered, very child energy. Some of you guys might also be reevaluating and taking a look at, I always wanted to do this and I never did it. And why didn't I do it? And is it feasible? And can I do it now? What an amazing opportunity to have a time where you can really trust and believe in being able to make these changes. I think it's really positive. All right, cool. So let's get down to Virgo. For Virgo, this is your 8th house. And so how interesting that some of the Virgos are really kind of feeling it with the Saturn square and the Neptune square and everything that's going on with you guys. It's certainly been very interesting. But to have Uranus in your 8th house, any of you guys who are the, even on the cusp who are starting to feel it, I'm a very early Libra, so I'm feeling it too. But Uranus in the 8th is just, it's crazy. It's just wild. It's reevaluating and deciding how you deal with those 8th house energies. And so for it to be in Aries, I feel like that's connecting to your own primal instinct. I feel like it's you, certainly Uranus in the 8th is learning about the ups and downs and, our partners, but also what our partners have to offer us and what's going on with our finances, how we're dealing with debt, how we're dealing with the idea of loss. Don't forget the 8th house has to do with Scorpio energy. It's rebirth, it's death, it's what we actually can potentially even inherit. So there's a lot of really interesting things that can happen with Uranus being in the 8th house. So Virgo, what is going on with you this month? Let's take a look. All right, I get Knight of Cups. So I'm actually looking at this, and I have felt this way, that it's more emotional than anything else. And so that's kind of a confirmation with the Knight of Cups that you may be feeling in a way where you're willing to take chances and you're willing to take major leaps of faith in emotional connections with people, that you're more willing to connect on a physical, emotional, sexual, spiritual level because you have no other option. Many, many, many Virgos, I think, are really evolving, seeing Jupiter going through their 2nd house, and really feeling like, oh my gosh, relationships are so important. And I never realized how much I need a relationship to balance things out, and that I can have this partner or this relationship that really is so complementary and gets me out of my head. And I think that the Knight of Cups is somebody who's coming in, who's also still working on a very dreamlike subconscious state, but somebody who's also offering you something emotionally, and it can be karmic in the 8th house, and it can be sexual, and it's going to be something that's very transformative. So allow that Knight to show up, allow the emotions to overflow, allow your cups to overflow. I know that you're scared of getting lost in this, but you need this right now because it's going to help you connect more so with what's going on an emotional level. So roll with it, Virgo. You got it. You can do it. All right. So look at this, Libra. This is your 7th house, okay? And to have Uranus going retrograde through your 7th house, on behalf of all Libra risings, I think I can say I'm so over it. I'm done. I'm appreciative of it because, well, my whole dating life has been a freaking roller coaster. But it certainly has shown us a lot about what's happening with the people who come into our life. Our business partners, our romantic partners, our friendships, our husbands, our wives, all of these people that create this stir that really makes us want something more. It wants more. So we're hungry. For your 7th house to be having this retrograde, many Libra sun, Libra rising, Libra moon are really reevaluating these relationships and going, this partner is all over the place, or I don't know if I can commit. It's making me really nervous, or I really need something more, or I want to find someone else. And so I think that it's okay to feel this way. I'm trying to remind myself it's okay to feel this way. I have the ability to create change and to make change. And if something is not a fit, it's not a fit. You can't push it. So allow these crazy people to come in and out of your life, take the experiences, but do not subscribe to the drama, please. Especially when you're seeing that Jupiter is in, and around your sun or on around your 1st house. It's certainly magnetizing that. And for a lot of Libras, you're also dealing with a lot of craziness with your family. So try to hang in there with those cardinal squares and realize that sometimes, and a lot of this is Jupiter just being in Libra this year, you have to march to the beat of your own drum. Sometimes you have to step away and go, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't me. I'm not going to subscribe to this. And guess what, Libras? People are going to think that you have your nose up in the air. And that's okay. Let them do that. Really what's going on is you're needing to really get really confident and really comfortable with you. So allow that to happen. Let's see what's going on in your 7th house. And that would be the 3 of Wands. All right. So, that's very open. That's very decisive. I see that as this is where I'm going and I'm making my move. The Ace would be the new beginning. The 2 of Wands would be the contemplation. And the 3 of Wands is I've made my choice. Here's where I'm going. And so a lot of you guys, I do feel, especially with these eclipses happening in your 5th house, happening in your 11th house, that you will be contemplating what is fun, what does my heart want, what do I need romantically, and I'm going to be more likely to take risks for the sake of love. So I'm giving you the okay to make that decision. Obviously, feel it out this month. You need a little bit more time. We don't want to make major decisions within a week or two of an eclipse. Well, we've got one in a couple days and one 2 weeks after that. So you may have to ride this out for 3 weeks, 3 of Wands. You may have to see how you're feeling. You may have been giving it some time, but now you're really proactively planning on moving forward, potentially from a partnership. So if it happens, it happens. All right, Scorpio, for you, this is your 6th house. And with that, that's about your organization, what's going up with what you need, what's happening with your coworkers, where you're focused on making some active changes also in your health. Uranus going retrograde in your 6th house, I look at that as a time to evaluate new ways of energetically cleaning stuff up so you're feeling better. New ways of creating control in your daily routine. And you're going to see that more of the chaos is within you. And if something is rubbing you the wrong way, Scorpio, you have no problem telling people. So the key is not to allow it to fester inside and drive you crazy. It's more about being like, this is a problem and this is how I'm going to fix it. And it really does start with your intention, because if any of the signs know it's Scorpio, you will literally manifest and bring whatever you're fixated on. And we can have a tendency to be like, F this, F that, I hate this, I hate that, da 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 da, and get in this repetitive, pessimistic state. Now, for the evolved versions of Scorpio, we can go, I don't like this, and I'm going to put my mind to it, and I'm literally going to sit here and focus and manifest on this change and change my patterns, and oh my gosh, look at this magic that's happening. It's changing the world around me. And so I want you guys to look at it from that way rather than the whole I'm screaming inside kind of view. So try not to get there, okay? All right, so let's take a look. Look at this, Ace of Coins. I think that this also plays on what we're eating, Scorpio, what we're doing, how we're handling things. You know, some way Jupiter is either hovering in your 12th house or it's hovering somewhere, getting closer and closer and closer to your sun. Until you get organized, structured, secure with what's going on inside, and sometimes that's about the stuff we put in our mouth. Sometimes that's about our actual, structure, our foundation. We can't allow other things to come together. So especially those of you guys who are Scorpio risings and you're feeling, Libra being in your 12th and you're having this release of Jupiter there, you're still planning and you're getting ready to emerge. So this is basically saying if the focus is on making more money, if the focus is on getting, better grounded, if it's buying a house, if it's starting a business, if it's anything that has to do with that, it has to start with your foundation. This is also saying this is the month to make some changes. Anything that you get moving this month, you're really going to be seeing the full effects of all of the positive changes coming as early as December. So guys, get with the program, get ready for Jupiter. It's going to be amazing. You've got it. All right, Sag, this is your 5th house. So, oh my goodness, with the North Node being in Leo, and then having, this going on in your 5th house, this to me screams some Sages are moving forward very quickly. They're making many, many, many changes with Saturn. They're also seeing that Uranus is supportive. Many of you guys are waking up and you're doing these creative projects and you're painting and you're drawing and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it's been coming out of you, but part of you is going, how do I make this a reality? Or am I really ready to have a child? Am I really ready to give birth to this project? Is this something that I'm ready to do? Remember that when Saturn leaves your sign, it always leaves a gift. And Saturn will be leaving the end of this year. Coincidentally, it leaves in December, and then the beginning of January, Uranus retrograde is over. So you have to love Uranus going retrograde. You have to love it because it's giving you the green light, almost more than most signs, to go and be crazy, to go and do these things and be like, yes, I'm a photographer. Yes, I'm a writer. Yes, I'm doing this, because things don't happen until you start saying it. So Uranus is giving you the opportunity to get really clear and really secure about what it is you want to create in your life and what you're birthing and what you're making and taking risks. Don't forget the 5th house is taking risks and or gambling. So take a look at that. Let's see what comes up for you, Sag. Ooh, here we have the Hermit. So I like this because this is, of all of the cards, I see the Hermit card and I'm like, that would be my retrograde card. That would be my, I'm going to pull away. We're going to take a look at things. I'm going to hide away. I'm going to take my lantern and I'm going to illuminate everything that's important to me, and then I'm going to just do nothing but study that and nothing but focus on that, and allow myself to get to the point where I know it so well that I'm ready to release it to the world. So certainly focus on the Hermit. I think it's going to be very helpful, and it's giving you guys a lot of guidance about how to illuminate what's important to you right now. All right, so now I'm on Capricorn. Caps, this is your, let's take a look, your 4th house. My goodness. So certainly a lot of stuff that's been happening here. The full moons and, you know, Uranus being there for Cap or Cap rising is certainly a lot of like, where the hell am I living? What's going on with my family? How do I find independence for my family? How do I figure out where I want to live? How do I get into something stable? And it's going retrograde, which is actually allowing you guys to prepare. There can be some shakeups this year prior to Saturn getting closer to your sun. And the reason why this is happening is Uranus is basically saying to you, you got to change, get ready for change. And I think it's waking up a lot of Capricorns very, very, very early, not only with the squares, but also because it realizes that you guys, like kind of like Scorpios, are just going to put that death grip into everything and be like, no, 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 I can't create a change. So like I said, be Uranus right now, Caps. It's so important. Welcome the changes in your home. This can sometimes be changes in your schedule and how you're working. This can be changes in how your family structure is working. Some of you guys are going to experience leaning a little bit more on a partner, seeing that a partner is going to be a little bit more needed, or you're going to be a little bit more needed. Some of you guys might have changes in your actual family structure and your roles within the house. And sometimes that has to do with talking to your kids too. So Capricorns, don't take any shit, okay? It's a good time to really be evaluating and seeing how you can create changes in the family structure to make it more possible. So when Saturn shows up at the beginning of the year, you have the freedom to be like, I'm going to go and do what I need to do. I have to go and do it. I got to go, you know, and you don't want to be having this conversation with your family in the middle of 2018. You want to start doing it now, so they're already kind of seeing that things are shifting and that you're laying down the ground rules, okay? So let's get right with that. Don't feel bad about doing it. It is needed because guess what? You're going places. And so what's interesting with the full card is I don't see this as an actual move. Maybe I don't see it as an actual move. I think it's if we are evaluating where we want to go in our life, we're taking a look at what needs to change, and it's new endeavors. The Fool is like, we're going on a new adventure, we're going to do things differently, and being very optimistic. And so I want Capricorn to look at it that way and look at whatever is changing right now in your 4th house is just like basically preparing you and the people around you for you to be making some radical changes, because Saturn's going to look good on you. Don't worry about that. It'll look good. It shines very well on Capricorn. So, all right, getting to Aquarius. Aquarius, this is your 3rd house. Very interesting that you're seeing this play with the South Node. A lot of Aquarians are going through what I would call an ego death, and really kind of evaluating where they are, how they're feeling about things, what's happening in their life. And certainly Uranus going retrograde, you're re-evaluating ways to get this information out, for you to communicate with siblings, for you to be able to look at new innovative ways to speak your truth. And so for those of you guys who are making some major career moves or some major life changes, this is a way for you to start integrating, once again, I think technology into how you're communicating. Aquarius, for Christ's sakes, write down these ideas that come to your mind midday. Get a tape recorder, get an audio recorder, pull out your phone. If you have these ideas, write them down, record them, type them, do whatever you'll have to do to start getting all of this information out of you, because it's going to provide very, very, very useful and helpful information about how you go about communicating with other people, or maybe even telling your story. So certainly think about that. Like I said, it's your 3rd house. And the card that I get for you is the Justice card. So I like that because it's basically saying, you know, it's not just about karma or relationships, although that is part of it, especially when you're seeing this opposition with what's going on with Leo. Many of you guys are bringing new relationships into your world. And so this is a very, very powerful time to be manifesting relationships, writing about what you need, learning a lot about mantras, being able to find new ways to integrate communication into your life so you can literally bring in what you want. I see the Justice card, once again, as a balance. And so when I look at that, I think of Venus and being able to communicate more lovingly and more affectionately. So whether you're communicating with a partner or communicating with a sibling or a family member, or trying to find new ways of just writing and expressing yourself, a lot of Venus energy comes in through this, a lot of coming and speaking from the heart, speaking with love, and being able to kind of clean up old situations and make them better. All right. And last but not least are my little Pisces. And for you guys, this is your second house. Very interesting that Pisces rising, Pisces moon, you guys are kind of tinkering and playing around with ideas and new innovative ways of being able to bring money into your life. A lot of you guys are reevaluating your actual system of, you know, what you value. It might be more your thoughts and your ideas. It might be new ways that you're bringing in income or bringing in revenue. You might be having a total revelation in, I don't really value stuff anymore. I'm more valuing what what time I have to be able to create, or what time I have to be able to go and really invent new creative ways to bring in money. And you're also changing how you communicate. I still see the second house as an opportunity for you to potentially, once again, be bringing in some money online. Some of you guys will be researching and doing some creative tinkering with your businesses, or how you're going about offering services and looking to expand on a more digital platform. This is very important for you because it also has a lot to do with Neptune. And so Neptune going retrograde somewhere around your sun or rising or your moon is also creating a spiritual and an emotional dilemma for what you want and how you want to express yourself. Utilize your dreams, Pisces. It's what you're really good at. And you'll have the ability to really work with Uranus and Neptune going retrograde and go, you know what, I keep having this feeling, and I think I need to do it, and I have this service and I can totally offer it online, or I'm working as an accountant, or I'm working as this, or a consultant, or whatever, and maybe I should just go and do that website. Frickin' do it. Do it because Jupiter is direct. Do it because Saturn is retrograde. Do it because you've got the opportunity to start building things, Pisces. You're done with those eclipses. Nobody's kicking you down anymore. The world is yours. So with that being said, really stoked that I got a chance to be here and I got to be back. I will be here in a couple days. I will be talking to you guys about the eclipse that's going on in Aquarius on the 7th, how it's affecting us on a spiritual, on an evolutionary, on a worldly level, how we're going to expect it to play out based off of our specific placements in our chart. So I really hope that you guys come back and stay with me, because I love being here and I really love being able to talk with you guys and give you all of this information. And to those of you guys who showed up midday to talk astrology with me, you're the best. I freaking love you guys. Now is a really good time to be getting a reading. So if you guys are interested, check out the link below this video. Please like, comment, share. I take a look at the comments. I take a look at everything. Sometimes I'll comment back. Sometimes I use a lot of what you guys say to help better guide the information that I'm putting out there to help anybody who needs it. So if you want a reading, take a look at my services in the link below for Mystic Illuminations. You can see my bio as well as everything that I have to offer. And until next time, guys, I will be talking to you all very soon. Have a good one.